Hi, library science students. I'm going to show you how to do the spine label nonfiction classics, graphic novels, and nonfiction um, assignment. So, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to notice that I have got slides for classics, nonfiction, and graphic novels because we're going to have nonfiction in all three of those sections. And I have the shelving cart labels put in the order you would see them. So classics are on the first shelving cart, and then nonfiction and graphic novels are on the second shelving cart. And the labels are pretty much where you're going to see them when they are on the shelving cart. So this first little bit is you're going to take the spine label for each and you're going to cut and paste that into the appropriate place. So when I see 230.004, there's no GRA, which would indicate it's a graphic novel. There's no classics, which would indicate it's a classics. So I'm going to Control X, cut this, and put it on nonfiction. And because I like to save time, I'm going to go ahead and do my organizing all at the same time. I recommend cutting it because that way you see what you've gotten done, at least for part one. So I see GRA, that tells me it's a graphic novel. I'm going to Control X and Control V to paste it on my graphic novels. And 174.28, because it doesn't have the classics or the GRA, I know that that's nonfiction. So I'm going to put that on my nonfiction page, my nonfiction slide. And classics 883, I'm going to do Control X, and I'm going to put that on my classics page. And 883 is a higher number, so I'm going to put this down here. So that is what you're going to do for part one. When we come down to part two, that one is a little bit more tricky. So you are going to select 9 spine labels, at least 3 from each section. And I recommend that you just go up to your slide. And I have given you 1 slide from classics. So you're still going to pick 3 classics, 3 graphic novel, and 3 nonfiction. And in this part of the assignment, we're going to be working on a couple of things. We're going to, again, be practicing the Dewey Decimal System using Library Thing, but then I'm also wanting you to learn how to use our Destiny catalog to find a book in our library. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to this time, and you're not going to see this one in yours, I'm using this for the example. I'm going to do Control C because I don't want to take this off of my nonfiction slide. So I'm copying it and then I'm going to paste it in the example. And I'm going to, just like I did before, do the library thing build out. So I'm going 3x 330.xxxx. And now I'm going to come over to library thing and I'm going to look this up. And 300 is social sciences. 330 is economics. And 330 is still economics. $330.9 is economic geography and history. .97 is North America. .979 is West Coast US, and 9795 is Oregon. And we want to find one work under this decimal number. And you remember what I suggested to you is, as you are looking, we've got Merchants, Money and Power, Willamette Valley, the Pacific Northwest, a regional human and economic survey. So I am going to highlight this. I'm going to copy it. And you remember that I'm going to do a Control-Shift-V to find this book. But now what I want to do is I want to find what is the title of this work from our catalog. And so for this one, I want you to log in as the library science student, and I'll give you those password credentials. Before, for this, you've used circulation, but this time we are going to use the catalog, and you're going to select number from the catalog because we can look a number of ways. And the one that we're looking for is 330.9795 McCall. And in this case, it's actually going to be 330.9795 MAC. So 330.9795 MAC, and go. If you are unable to find one of these, I recommend that you just go with the first three. And again, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to do Control-Shift-V so that I get this on my slide in the same format as the rest of my slide. Now you're going to notice Merchants, Money and Power, the Portland Establishment is also one of the titles that was under our selected works. So those are how those are going to connect. In the case of the title that I selected here, or the call number I selected here, you're going to make sure that you include Classics 818.5409 and Angelou, or at a minimum ANG. But this time you're going to find several titles under this particular call number, and we're going to talk about that later. You only need to pick one. So if you have any questions on this assignment, come see me.